Howdy, hello, and welcome to our final episode of Gelgelim, a Yiddish fantasy gone rogue. Let's get started, do some introductions. As I'm talking, I'll go first. Hi, I'm Danielle Osterman, she, they, and I designed the setting, and I am the facilitator for this stream. I'm going out of order. We'll go for TJ.
Hi, I'm TJ. I'm playing Alexis. We both go by he, him pronouns. Moving it on to Heck.
Alright, hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. And as per usual and for the last time tonight, I am playing Eleonora, and the two of us use she, they pronouns. On over to Turk.
Hey everybody, I am Turk, or Turk accented tonight. I will continue to be Shawl. We both use he, him pronouns. And I'm going to toss it over on to Janie, who hasn't gone yet, no matter what they might tell you.
I am Janie, and I went all the previous times that I was on stream. And I'm playing Layla.
Is it just me left?
It's just you left.
I'm Max. I'm Arcane Goth on the internet. I use he, they pronouns. I play Asher, who is the doctor of the group, who uses they, she, or he pronouns. Since it's the last episode, I will reveal that he's not so loosely based off of a character I pulled in Genshin when I had to make the character sheet for this.
I was really wondering. Fabulous. Okay. Fantastic. Well, I'm really excited to be here. Sad this is our last stream, at least for now. There will be more Gelgelim in the future. This is the last of this bit. Now, before we get started into our usual thing, I have they take a little bit of a weird journey. So here at Neon Lights Roleplaying, we have this really phenomenal list of lines and veils in our big consent doc, just to make sure that everyone is feeling like the table that we play at is a safe space for them, and the games that we're playing feel comfy for all of us. And last session, I broke one of those. I crossed one of those lines. I violated that consent and hurt one of my players, and that sucks, obviously. And after the session, we had a conversation together as a group where I learned that I fucked up, and then I apologized immediately, because that's what you do when you hurt one of your friends, is you apologize. And then we had a really great conversation about what we wanted to do next in order to help everybody continue to restore some of that trust and come together in a way where we felt like we could move together as a table. And so one of the things that we did is we retconned all of the things that were that were not appropriate out of the session. So for example, if you were to look at our lovely session recaps on that wonderful stream the webpage that Nightbot has linked, you would notice that the official recap of that session is a little bit different than the recording of the session would say. And that's because we're fixing problems, and we are making this changing the history of what happened, changing our collective memory to be something that we are all comfortable remembering and thinking about in order to help us move forward together as a table. And I think it's really important as facilitators to acknowledge when you make mistakes. Because if you don't acknowledge when you make mistakes, how can you expect your players and, well, in this case, your audience to trust you? You can't. That's not fair to put that on. And also, these mistakes happen. People are people. While we have this really great tool, sometimes humans screw up. Sometimes we misremember or we misread things. Sometimes something wasn't flagged and should have been flagged. This happens. It's life. And what's important is how we deal with it and care for ourselves and for our friends and our communities, so that we all continue to feel safe and that we can trust each other. And so I wanted to take this time to acknowledge my mistake, and then model what I think is a really good way, as a healthy way for people to move through mistakes together. Because that's not something we get to see very often in the tabletop gaming space, I don't think. And well, I don't want to see more of it, because I want people to not make mistakes like that and not hurt their friends. I think it's important that when that does happen, that we acknowledge it and we talk about it, because then we don't ignore it. So with that said, let's shift gears. It's our last session of Gelgelim, and it's a spicy time. When last we met, you had returned home, you'd rested, you'd recuperated, and then one of your neighbors was having a bit of like terrifying euphoria that really freaked a lot of us out, and raving about like the angels in the deep. No one really knew what that meant other than it was really bad news. And old Klaus had these weird like growths underneath his fingernails. It was a very scary time. And you did some investigation and you discovered that there was a hill like growing out of the dirt next to old Klaus's house. And you did some investigation, and the hill was getting a little bit bigger the next day. And then Janie communed with the hill and discovered that it was not just like a hill that was like weirdly growing out of the ground. It was something else. It was, well, she wasn't really sure what it was. But whatever was in there, whatever was animating that, felt her presence and reached back. And then the hill started growing even faster and even faster and even faster. And there was, all of a sudden, a giant stone skull out of the ground, like 20 yards in diameter, right like 10 minutes from your house, with a big, open, terrifying mouth. Understandably, you all weren't sure exactly what to do, but the big thing that you wanted to do was you wanted to get out and you wanted to get help. And so you started packing up all of your things, and some of you went to the Burmester to get some help, and the Burmester soldiers and the Burmester's clerks and aides were not particularly helpful. And in fact, like, you think a couple of those folks have in fact perished. You've managed to save those that you could from this escapade, and you've got most of your family ready and packed on the wagon. But you're going to take one last look around, maybe see if you can stem whatever like bad thing is at the root of this, and save your home and not actually have to leave. What do?
Well, we know there is a large mouth to go into, and there's a tunnel. Do we think there's any way to safely go down that?
I mean, that spear seemed to go in pretty well. We could probably put in like a stake or something and tie a rope down.
It seems like safely. But going down, going to be the easy part. I like the plan of stake and rope, though.
It's not too hard to round up some stakes, and you certainly got plenty of rope around. You can scavenge from various different uses and tie together to make a fairly long rope. Anything else you want to bring with you before you venture back into the mouth of this skull?
I mean, outside of like the gear we normally would have for
Sure.
A light source, if that isn't included in that gear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got some torches.
Yeah, I imagine several of you have got torches or candles or some
Mhm.
sort of portable light source.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what I would use as a light weapon. It's like, I don't know. Are there any like knives around or something like that?
I mean, you definitely like. Sarah would rather you not use her really nice kitchen knives, but like she'd rather you have kitchen knife and nothing at all. You could also definitely like get some like you've got spare wood lying around. You could fashion that into a light club pretty easily.
Question.
That would, I think, also do the trick.
Would a hatchet count as a light weapon?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, then
Mhm.
Alexis would give you his hatchet.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's one of the things, like, because I'm bringing a lockpick, a bunch of torches, my pickaxe, and my bow for this, as well as some other supplies. The
Okay,
hatchet
great.
was just going to be part of that.
Very cool.
Cool.
So,
I'm
Yeah.
getting all the string that I can because that's
Okay.
my range weapon.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And I guess lots of wood sticks. And do we have any spare like flints and things?
Oh yeah. Fire starting kits, absolutely.
Yeah, like a
Um,
fire starting kit. And I'm going to put a blanket in my bag too, and some rocks.
Mhm. Cool.
Definitely also take like some whatever like foods being left behind that's like easy to transport.
Most of the easy transport food had been packed onto the wagon, but like you're certainly able to grab like a loaf. Sarah has essentially turned the bread that she was baking into masa. So you've got some like matzah that she's happy to wrap up for you.
I have a martial weapon proficiency. I would like to either take the cast iron pan that I have been joking about for the recent time, or fashion like a little like slingshot that I could use to throw rocks at things.
I think either of those would be fine, but I would ask you to pick one.
Does anyone have a preference as to what would be helpful for the group?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like the pan is just so much funnier. It's such a good
I feel
meme,
like the
but
pan is
also
more
ranged
iconic.
weapons are nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Okay,
can
I
always
think
just throw rocks without a
That's
slingshot.
that's
Yeah.
true. I'll take the cast iron.
There is also the option though of when we get there is that spear that is still in the cave.
True. It also might be
Yeah.
unconventional, but like if you have a cast
Also-
iron pot, you could like tennis racket it, throw something up and just.
That's going to be a little tricky to do, I think, with any accuracy. What I will say also is like you do have like a bunch of unconscious soldiers, and all of those soldiers also have spears of their own that you could take. So you have probably like half a dozen, we'll say 8 spears. They're not great quality spears, but they are like steel on the end of a long wooden pole that's pretty securely tied. And those could be carried, those can be thrown.
I also grabbed some rocks.
You mentioned that. Rock's also good. Cool. Okay. So we have this mouth that is yawned open. There is the like beat to death gray like creature still sort of sprawled out across some of the teeth. Has not moved since Eleonora and the person that you were with whose child was being threatened beat it to bits. Who's going to step inside first?
Good question.
I've got
I mean-
armor on. I'll venture in first.
All right, you step inside. You've got a torch, I imagine.
Mhm.
All right, you step inside. Now, I imagine that Alexis would have told everybody like what he found on his first like stepping inside, and so many of the like fleshy sacks around the edges of that room are no longer there. They have popped or something. They still there's still a number of them sort of higher up on the walls, but all of the ones that are sort of on the ground area where you might easily run into them, those are gone. With your torch, you can see that pit at the back end of this room that just sort of drops down. I think I said it's about like probably 8-10 feet across.
There's nothing immediately attacking me, though, right?
No, nothing attacks you. No.
I think it's safe for the rest of you to come in. Keep slowly moving forward towards the pit, just to keep an eye out towards the ceiling and such.
You sure you don't want me to stay out here and guard it?
You get in here now. I'll throw you in.
Fine. Question: are there any soldiers outside of there that I can grab a weapon from?
Oh yeah, like I said, there are a number. I mean, these are like the children of your neighbors, mostly, but they have spears that you're welcome to grab.
I'm gonna grab a spear.
Solid.
Then I guess I'll go in since I have to.
Imagine going on an adventure in my TTRPGs.
Indeed.
No,
So you're all crowding into the open mouth of this head. You cannot see the bottom of the shaft from the top of it. You do see the spear sort of sticking out. It's about like 8 feet down, and has not moved from the like hour before when it was initially stabbed into the wall.
Okay. So yeah, Alexis would, like, with the bundle of rope that he has, like, knots tied in between it to make it easier to climb up out of, just in case. He'll go in and quickly, like, hit in the stake and then tie off the rope to it and then throw it down to see how far, like, it hits. See if it sounds like it hits bottom from it. And then 2, just to get it prepped and ready to go.
Cool. What, you're anchoring the stake into like the fleshy tongue thing?
Yeah.
Great. So you hammer your stake in, and it goes in very easily. And then it's like that floor texture that sort of like, I'm gonna call it tongue, like sort of like separates and then like clenches around it, holding it very tightly in place.
All right. Don't think we need to worry about that coming out.
So you toss the rope down. How long is this rope? I'm not going to give you a firm number as to how long the rope is, but you definitely hear it touch bottom. You can't see it, but you can hear it. It did hit bottom. You have enough rope to get all the way down.
All right. Well, I guess nowhere to go but down. And with that, Alexis would be like the first one to start going down.
All right. So we've got Alexis going down. Who's following Alexis?
I'll do it.
Shawl's following Alexis. I'm going to write this down for not ominous reasons.
Totally normal reasons, I'm sure.
What is your marching order? Not asking for anything nefarious.
Exactly, just marching order. In that case, I'll go third.
Can I just stay up here and make sure that we can get back up?
I will throw you down here.
You would really like that, wouldn't you, Layla? And I will gesture for Layla to go ahead of me next down
What
the road.
amount of danger will cause you to actually want to do something? How in trouble do I need to be?
But is something attacking you currently?
You won't know from up there.
Here's how you have to think of it. You can't let the old man outpace you. You really gonna live with that?
Yeah.
Alright, I
She's
respect
gotta
your
live.
dedication, if nothing else.
So
Look,
You
I'll
start-
go down. Okay, I will go down there, but I'm just worried about getting back up.
We'll be able to get back up. I mean, also, people have seen us go down into this thing from the town.
Everyone knows what you're doing. Your family knows, your neighbors know. Everybody knows what you're doing. They think that you're very brave and very stupid.
Yeah, so if we're gone for too long, I'm sure that there will be people who will find a ladder or another rope or something to help us out.
Yes, definitely. All right, so Alexis, you start climbing down. You get down like 6 feet, 8 feet. You're level with that spear plunged in. Now, one thing that you're noticing is that like this particular wall that you're sort of bumping and scraping into, like as you reach out to grab the rope, your fingers like grip into the wall, and it's like the wall holds your fingers there.
Ugh.
But then as soon as you like pull your fingers away from the wall like lets go immediately.
I don't like that.
You continue to climb down. You're like 10, 15 feet down. And you see on the wall behind you that there is a hole in that wall. And with your torchlight, it's sort of just like sort of swing around to get a better look. It is the opening of a shaft that leads. So if you're climbing down this way, like the head's up here, it's facing this way, there is some sort of shaft that leads opposite you, slanting down, like some kind of slide.
How far in distance is that from me?
So like I said, the shaft that you're climbing down is like, I think it's, we'll say 8 feet wide. So if you like kick off the wall with your feet, you can it wouldn't be too terribly hard for you to swing yourself and like catch the lip of it.
Okay. And then the rope is just going straight down, right?
Rope's just going straight down.
We know that the soldiers went, as far as we know anyways, the soldiers more likely fell straight down.
Yeah.
Didn't end up in the shaft. He is gonna kick off the wall and like try to pull himself towards it just to see like further into it.
Sure. Yeah, there's no need to roll for that, I don't think. Yeah, it takes a little bit, and like everybody upstream is like holding on a little bit for dear life as you're like jockeying down at the bottom. But ropes in really securely at the top. After like 3 or 4 tries, you manage to like catch the lip of it. You are going to need to pass your torch up to the next person on the rope, and then they'll have to pass it back down to you now that you're like secured. And it looks like a big fleshy slide. That very comfortably could fit like an adult human or two. But you cannot
is it moving like further away from the tunnel?
Yes, further diagonally down and then away from where you entered.
So he'll call up to the rope. He's like, so we have another path here that I don't know which way you guys want to go. Either we can go further down or down this slide thing.
How slippery does it look? Could we climb our way back up it?
I mean, we could potentially try to get the rope down it, but I don't know how far this goes.
Well, where do you think we're going to be in more control? I feel like that's the better option.
I don't know if trailcraft would apply here, as this is a trail, though not perhaps one in the forest. If I could use it to discern what path might lead us to an end goal.
I think that's a real stretch of that particular power. And so I don't.
That's fine.
Like, yeah, I don't think that's I don't think it's quite appropriate. Like, presumably both of these lead to something. They wouldn't be here if they didn't. Is that something you're going to like? I certainly cannot answer that question.
That is harder to know. Go now. I think we're right, and going down is the more secure because we can guarantee the rope's going with us, and we can get back up. So yeah, with that, he would probably just like cast off and go back to climbing down.
All right, you continue to climb down. It is very fatiguing to climb down a rope in this way, but you continue climbing. After probably 10 or 15 minutes of slow but steady progress, you touch the bottom. It is more. Let me just double check. So, the bottom of this hole is just a narrow shaft, but one of the walls of the shaft is open, leading out into a very large room. The floor underneath you is, again, like soft, not quite as soft as that tongue was all the way up top, but still like it's It sort of, but it's like as your boot steps onto it, it sort of depresses and absorbs and like wraps around a little bit in a very like comforting way. Like, you know, a very, very tight hug that you give to a friend you haven't seen in a very, very long time, but it's the floor and your boot. The smell as you hit the ground of rotting flesh and something really foul just like is overwhelming.
Do we see like any of the soldiers or anything that have fallen down here?
So from where you are inside the like small 8-foot diameter tube, no. If you wanted to step out into the larger, and your view of the larger room is somewhat obstructed, you can't see very much into it. But you certainly could step into that much larger room to take a gander.
Okay.
However, like the room is not like you're not going to be able to fit all of you into this like base of the tunnel without at least half of you stepping into the larger room.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like 4 or 5 minutes between like each one of you joining the rest of the group.
Yeah, so like as the room starts to fill up, Alexis would be one of the first to step out, leading with like a
Right.
torch in front of him.
So you step out and you know what the smell is. The room that you are in it's huge. It's like football field sized. This and the floor, the walls, this is all that same like gray, like stone like stuff that skull up at the top is. And at the center of that room is a massive mound of like rotting vegetables and animal corpses, and you see some like arms and legs sticking out of the pile. This is, however, not the thing that really catches your attention. The thing that catches your attention is that to the right, there is a raised platform 30 feet above your head. And there is somebody on that platform who is walking around. And as you step out and see all of this, sort of turns and notices you.
Can I make out who it is?
They are at the very limit of what your torch will illuminate. You can tell they are wearing some sort of like cowled robe. And as you sort of look towards them and that higher up platform, you also notice that there is like a purplish pink streak running in the wall from the platform, just above the platform, all the way down to the floor that you are on.
Okay. Yeah, he'll wait for everybody else to slowly come out in the room for making any plans further.
All right. So we've got you are out. We've got Shawl out. We've got wrong button. This button. We've got Eleonora out. And as Eleonora exits to make room for Layla to drop down safely, the figure stops whatever it is that they're doing, turns, and you hear this voice like resonating in your bones. Welcome.
Don't like that.
No.
Hello?
Welcome. It is so nice when compost enters of its own accord. He walks very slowly, sort of turns away from you. I'm not really sure pronouns. And into, there looks like they're like troughs of something up on that raised platform that they're on. And you reach into a trough and they throw something down into the pile of rotting vegetables and animals and people. And it like makes a sound as it impacts it. And then they throw another one.
Yeah, by the time they were throwing the second one, Alexis would have like put his torch into like something on the ground. Drew his
There was
bow
nothing
and
on the
he's
ground really to put it down.
I thought it was like the soft material, like I can't stab it into it.
Not inside the room that you are in here. Just that one wall inside the much smaller, like the tube room. Like you can just drop your torch on the floor and it will still provide some amount of light, just not a lot.
So he would probably hand off his torch and then bring out the bow and arrow and take a shot at this guy. I don't like what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me a standard roll.
I do have proficiency with bow, so
that's good. You're
right?
Okay. That's gonna add an extra d6.
So that is a 16.
16. That is that's gonna hit. So your arrow like flies through the air and like punches into this guy's shoulder, and it doesn't really move. It just looks, and then turns and walks away out of your field of view. And from the rotting pile, 3 of those gray, like thrally things, like punch their way out of some of the bodies at the top of the pile, and like, and then they start to charge towards you.
Oh, nice. Definitely would.
At this point, Layla, you have touched the Layla, you touched the ground, and Asher, you're about to touch the ground, and like, well, you're 30 seconds a minute behind Layla.
Okay. Well, so we have 3 of them charging at us?
There are 3 of them charging towards you.
Yep, it's time to fight.
Yeah.
I don't think these things are gonna listen to us any more than that guy did.
No.
Might I go first in this theoretical situation here, because I'd love to Shawl cast the torch that he was carrying kind of in front of him towards these, but that's not my main thing. I'd love for the primary thing to be him running up, twisting the warhammer around so it's spike first, and trying to basically grab this thing and use its momentum to twist it around his body and out towards the side, or at least away from the immediate group. So yeah, if possible, I'd like to apply my martial extra d6.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's appropriate for the weapon that you're using.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna give this a good old-fashioned try. These dice haven't been doing the best for me, and you know what? That's fine. It's a 7 plus a 5 for a total of 13. I would be willing to incur crisis on myself if I could push it by.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so you can push that to take a crisis, but deal 1 damage. So the creature, the husk, like lurches at you, and you solidly plant that spike into the creature's body and try to throw it away, but the creature like wraps around and like grabs onto the end of your hammer and just will not be dislodged. Mm-hmm. And it is going to like sort of slither and crawl and grab hold of you. It doesn't have a mouth, but like if it did, it would be biting you right now. But the fingers are hard and sharp, and they cut into you, and you are bleeding a little bit. But you are grabbed by this thing. Right. But it has taken a damage.
I have a quick question. How wide is it from like wall to wall?
Where? The big room?
Yeah.
Or the big room, it's like I said, it's like football field sized. It's massive.
And where we are is about the same?
So you are stepping down in a like cylindrical room that's like 8 feet wide, and then there's a big door. There's a big like opening that you can step into to get into the football field sized room.
And are the walls squishy too?
The one wall of the cylindrical room is squishy. The walls of the football field sized room do not appear to be.
What about the doorway?
Doorway is not squishy.
Okay. What I was going to do was I don't know if I have enough time for this. I was going to tie the string to 2 stakes and put the stakes on either side so that if anything tries to come in, they'll be met by the string.
Yeah, absolutely. You can fashion a nice like old like classic tripwire. It's a little difficult to like wedge it in place super securely, but certainly it'll do for now. It'll knock somebody off balance. Certainly, absolutely. But
If I
as
move
you're
it,
sort of like,
will it cut their heads off, or is that too?
that's unlikely to happen. I think
Okay.
because like someone running into it with a lot of force is going to pull the stakes out of wherever it is you've been able to just sort of wedge them in. But it certainly will knock somebody off balance. Absolutely.
Okay, well I'll make tripwire then. I won't try to
Yeah.
do the whole ship thing.
Absolutely. So tripwire has been made. At this time, the other 2 husky things are charging towards Alexis. They're like running and rushing towards you, hands outstretched, trying to rend.
At least for one of them, I'm gonna like pick up my torch and try to like wedge it in like the closest thing to a rib cage it has, and attempt to light it on fire with that.
So you're trying to put the burning end into this ribcage?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
Question.
Mhm.
I do have proficiency with torches. Does that apply to this or no?
It absolutely does.
Okay. That was an 18 on the D20, so.
All right, fantastic. That is absolutely a success. So you are you break some of, well, you think that they're bones, something in that rib cage. It's going to take a lot more than that to light this creature on fire, but it's certainly like you've certainly hit it pretty hard, and it does not appreciate that fact.
Okay. And then the second one's also still charging at me?
Yes, the second one is also still charging at you, and like while you've been dealing with the first one, it is also going to take you and shove you and push you to the ground.
Could I have intervened at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. You can try to intervene at this moment.
'Cause, yeah, the focus isn't on me for some reason with those 2, and Eleonora is going to use that to her advantage.
Absolutely. How are you going to try to intervene?
Well, and the time, like, if this one that shoved Alexis, I'm kind of imagining, like, its back is turned from Eleonora, and having a hatchet, I would like to just clean sweep through and try to decapitate this thing.
Absolutely, give it a shot.
All right. Okay.
You get an extra die for this.
Exactly.
So you get an extra die for backstabbing, and you get an extra die for exploiting a weakness.
Oh, okay. And then I also have a die for light weapon proficiency.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
That is
Cool.
3 dice to add the best of, or you can also spend 2 of them to wager some extra damage.
Ooh, that also might be a really good thing to do. Yeah, so, like, I know it's 2d6, like, at least that you are able to wager.
So, for every 2d6 that you don't add to your roll, if you hit, deal an additional damage.
Okay.
So you have 3d6. You could add only one of those d6 to your d20. Instead of rolling the 3d6 and choosing the best to add to your d20, you would just roll one of those d6s and add that to your d20. And if you hit, you would deal not 1 but 2 hit points of damage.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it.
Let's go.
That
So,
sounds
D20
super
plus
fun.
D6.
I'm gonna use these mechanics because they're cool. All right. D20 roll. All right. That is a 12 plus a 1, so 13.
13. Okay, so you can either just fail, or you can push it to take a crisis, but succeed and deal the damage.
Yeah, I'll take a crisis. Let's do it.
Awesome. All right, so you mighty swing, and you do lop the creature's head off, and you send it like flying and spurtling to the ground. However, as you do so, its blood gets all over you, and you get a bunch of it into your mouth. You acquire the parasitized condition.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh no, bro.
All right. I'll write that down.
Sorry, I
Okay.
wasn't expecting Muscle Man.
I really don't like whatever that is. And I am a doctor. I have aces. I haven't used a single ace this whole game. One of my aces is sheer survival instincts. So I would like to basically go into like whatever the emergency CPR equivalent is of keeping Eleonora from this condition as I see this and act.
So I'm gonna give you a choice. I'm not gonna ask you to spend the ace on this, but I'm happy to let you try something. So you can essentially like do like a Heimlich maneuver almost to like get the poison out of Eleonora's body.
Okay.
And I'd let you trade that parasitized condition for Eleonora. Let me take a look at some conditions and give her something else that like is unpleasant but is potentially less unpleasant. Or certainly less scary.
If it's that rough of a Heimlich maneuver, a broken rib.
That's actually, that's an excellent suggestion.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, I'll take that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. So you can trade the parasitized condition for Eleonora has a minor injury.
Okay.
And so you're going to be at -1 die whenever you're
Okay.
doing anything that would aggravate that broken rib.
Okay.
Okay. Say, I'm sorry this is gonna hurt, but it's for the better. I don't want you to swallow that.
All right. You give the crunch and you vomit, and there is like some sort of like purpley growth that has already started to like expand on like whatever you had eaten for breakfast today. But it is no longer inside of you. Your insides are squeaky clean, covered in acid.
Can I take my,
Yeah.
I don't know, a scarf or something and just cover my mouth up? 'Cause that's really...
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the creature being dispatched, the figure with the robes is going to turn back and is going to throw 2 more of these things at you. And then walks over to that pink purple streak on the wall and sticks their arm in it. And then their whole body like lifts off the ground, and they are slowly descending, like with their arm, like it's like the wall is moving them via their arm. It's going to take them a little bit for them to get down below.
All right. Weird imagery on that in my mind, because I know it's meant to be like, yeah, their arms going down. I'm just envisioning like an old person getting in one of those chairs to go down the stairs.
The acorn
Yeah,
stair lift.
Yeah, it's like that, but like it's some sort of hooded, terrifying thing that
I'll get you,
Much
kid.
more
throws
than
monsters
settling.
at you.
I'm sorry. All right. So right now we have one of the creatures dead and decapitated.
Yep.
One of them hit by Alexis. One of them hit by Shawl.
Shawl,
And the one on
and wrapped around grabbing Shawl,
yeah.
like intent on doing bloody harm.
That's a good point. I think what Alexis would do is try to shove the one that he hit further away and start making like a move towards Shawl to help him out.
Mhm.
So he would probably still with the torch in his hand go to like essentially hold it like this, where like the burning end towards the further end of his hand, and use that to leverage and push away
Sure.
from the one that's near him.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a roll.
All right. That is a 15 even.
Even great. So you're able to sort of push the creature away, and as you do, it sort of lands and like its head hits the hard like quasi stone floor with a loud crack, and it stops moving. And you were able to rush to your friend's side.
And I think once getting there, he'll just try to pull it off the Warhammer.
Yeah. So with the two of you together, I think this is definitely Shawl like trying to escape and like get out. Shawl, I imagine you'd like to roll to like no longer be like grappled by this thing.
If possible, yes, that would be lovely.
Yeah. This is a great opportunity. So you are going to get an additional 2 dice for outnumbering this creature.
Okay. So that's a 31. I rolled a 19 on the.
So it's a D20 plus just the highest of the D6s.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. It's a 25, but
still a
still,
success, though.
still a great success.
Absolutely, yeah. So between the two of you, you're able to like grab the creature, pull it off the warhammer, and throw it, and it crunches into something else and is also like dealt with and dispatched.
Is that all of them dealt with at this point?
So there are now 2 more of these like husk things rising from the compost pile, and as you sort of turn to face them, this hooded figure has now reached the floor and pulls out from one of its sleeves a giant mushroom. It's like 3 feet long with a big cap. And you even from like you're like 15, 20 feet away, there are spores coming out of that cap, like visible spores that like glimmer and sparkle in the torchlights. And it looks and it points directly at Layla. It says, "You come."
Wait. No.
So until you comply, you are at -3 dice to do anything.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Question: was pulling myself free with the assistance my action for this next bit?
I mean, like, if you wanted to like do something in the interim while like Layla tries to resist the compulsion to move, absolutely, you're welcome to try to do something else.
I mean, I'd like to hit the thing that seems to be trying to put a hex on my friend.
All right, so cool. You can absolutely move closer. You can absolutely move closer to like be in range to engage with it. Doing so, however, is going to take you is going to put everyone else like you'll no longer be between everyone else and the other 2 like gray humanoid things coming out of the pile.
I get that. But I trust everyone else to be more combat capable right now. And this thing, like, I'm sorry, this is a very, very, very oversimplified thing of what just happened. But, that seems to be a very difficult thing that is happening right now. And I see someone standing stock still. Paternal instinct is to go in and hit that thing. So I'll be putting myself in that position to do that next.
Okay, but it's too far to walk. That's what Layla says to them.
You're welcome to say that. What are you going to do?
I'm going to try to like grab this. Make sure I have the spear, but I'm going to be like
Got the spear.
far to walk. And I guess I would have to roll to start a fire, wouldn't I?
Yeah, at this point, you want to do anything besides walking to this creature, you're going to have to roll for it, and you're going to be at -3 dice to do it.
Now, can I start starting a fire while walking towards the creature?
What are you trying to light on fire?
My blanket.
So, lighting something like a blanket on fire is going to take at least like 5 to 10 minutes, right? Because like you only have a way to make sparks, and you need like tinder and like, because like blankets are designed not to be particularly flammable.
What about a torch?
Torches are also going to take like a little bit of time to light on fire. You can't just like spark it and it'll immediately catch. You've got to like prep them and everything. So like you can do that, but it's going to take you a little bit to get the torch light on fire. Alternatively, if you could go to one of your friends and light your torch off of one of their torches, that's also an option.
Okay, somebody quick help me get a light, please, on my torch.
While you are sort of like trying to resist and like talking to your friends and trying to like get some help, the two other like gray crawly creatures are going to charge at Alexis. And they are going to again they are reaching out trying to like grab and like actually no, I'm so sorry, that's not who they're targeting. They're going after Eleonora. Eleonora like is in the middle of the fray now, so the both of them are going to charge and rush at Eleonora with very sharp fingers, like ready to do bloody violence.
Whoa. I mean, do I get to potentially act first, or?
I'm in fact asking, giving you an opportunity to try to do something.
Okay, great. Okay, hold on. I actually might have a big brain play. Would it be possible, like, just in the layout of the room, is there any place that I think I could get behind or through that it wouldn't be as easy for these things to get through?
No, it's a very big, like, open chamber. Like, there really aren't any like hidey holes other than like the entrance to like the tube room, but that's sufficiently large that if you can fit in there, so can they.
Okay.
Yeah, like you could try to like use Layla's tripwire to like inconvenience them for a minute, but that's about as close as you're gonna get to something like that.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, no, we'll just go with another swing. I'm just gonna try to fight at least one of these things.
Solid, yeah, absolutely.
One hit is better than getting 2 hits.
Okay.
So
it's true.
okay.
It's true. You are at -1 die because of your injury.
Okay.
You are also at -2 dice because you are outnumbered.
Okay. And since this is a light weapon, it would be +1 die, so it would even out to -1 die. Is that how that works?
So you're at -3 because -1 and -2.
Oh, okay, so it'd be -2.
+1. Yeah. Which I think in this case just means D20.
Okay. All right, I don't trust this die. I'm gonna choose another one. I was about to roll that one, but I'm scared of that one now because it didn't roll that well. 17. Okay.
Very impressive. Very impressive. All right. So how are you like dealing with these two charging at you?
Well, she knows at least one of them is going to get to her because these things are incredibly fast. Comparatively, and they are slippery. So she's going to try her best to give a swing to at least take off if she can go for a decapitate, totally fine. If she can't, she's just going to go for a limb, see if that would help incapacitate, and then she's just going to kind of shoulder into the other one, just be willing to take it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you are able to like make a pretty deep gash into one of them, and like and as you shoulder check into the other one, was not expecting you to take that initiative and sort of like bounces off of you a little bit. Now, as this is all happening, and Layla is being recalcitrant, as always, in an excellent way, Asher, what are you about to doing at this moment?
If Layla still needs help, I don't know if I have a torch or not, which is why I didn't speak on that before.
You want a torch?
But I am happy to help there in any way.
Great,
in any
absolutely.
way possible.
So you help Layla light that torch as Layla, I presume, makes your way very slowly towards this hooded figure, correct?
As slowly as I can.
Fantastic. So as you are inching your way towards the hooded figure, and Shawl has approached this person.
I'm also complaining, just so you know. I'm complaining a lot to this thing.
Fair enough.
Notice. So, Shaw, this thing is going to swing this mushroom at you impossibly fast. It whirls and whips up and spins about very acrobatically, gracefully.
Is this the just to clarify, hooded figure? This is the one who is also beginning to slowly descend, or is this a separate?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the one that has now slowly descended from the wall, pulled a big mushroom with spores glowing out of it, and is now like attacking you with the mushroom.
Okay. I'd like to try. Saul, as he's moving, is going to try and like pull back, initially stop the descent, and through one of these is going to try and spike that mushroom weapon into the cave, bottom of the cave here with his warhammer. Not trying to destroy it so much as pin it in place, so that others or even himself later on can make a fighting chance at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a roll.
Sure, and it's all right. I'll use my +1 d6 from Marshall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Perfect.
Anytime you're using a weapon like that.
That is going to be a 15 and a 5. It was almost 7 again, and I got real scared. So a 20
nice
total.
That's a 20 total. Fantastic. Absolutely. So you're able. So you get the point of your mace. You're not able to pierce the mushroom. This is not a particularly soft mushroom, but you are able to knock it out of this hooded figure's hands and send it tumbling to the floor. In response, however, the creature is able to grab your arm and sends excruciating pain through your body.
Yeah, there's going to be a loud exclamation from Shaw at that as he nearly goes to a knee.
Would you leave him alone?
So you have now arrived at this hooded figure, and the hooded figure sees you, and like you get the feeling that it is like smiling, but you also cannot see its face because it's still like covered and concealed in shadow. And it is going to like sort of unfurl its hand out of the robe itself, and it is pink like regular human skin, and it's gonna tense its fingers, and like darkness coalesces around in a little ball, and it's gonna send it shooting at you.
Can I duck?
You can certainly try to duck, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ducking sounds like a good choice. You have approached, and so you're no longer at that -3 dice penalty.
Okay, I forgot how to roll.
So it's going to be D20, and then if you have any benefits or bonuses that might apply to the situation, you get a D6 for each of them, and you would add the highest one.
Is being 100% awesome a bonus?
I'm afraid it is a bonus, but not to this.
I don't think I have any.
You might not.
Okay. I'll just hope this dice turns out good. I'm rolling one of the pink ones. 11.
11. Okay.
So I'm actually going to use a power of my heart and step between a PC and a crisis. So I'm assuming that's going to lead to a crisis, correct?
That you are correct. It is going to lead to a crisis. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, you use the power of your heart, and you are
just run up and shoulder check Layla out of the way, essentially.
Out of the way, exactly. And the beam of light is going to catch you. Now, Layla got an 11, so like it was not a complete failure. It was like a mixed. It was a mixed failure, if you could call it that. And so you're going to take a glancing blow, and it is going to send you. Let me just. Where's this? There we go. There we go. So it is going to. You are going to lose your sight briefly.
Okay, so I got the blinded.
You are blinded for a little bit.
All right. Question: how close was Layla originally to the, like, within arm's reach?
Within, not quite arm's reach, but like within 10 feet though.
All right. Being that I have kind of a rough estimate of where it is, he will just take a like single arrow shot in that direction.
All right, absolutely. Yeah, give it a shot. You're at -2 dice for not being able to see.
So that'll reset me to. Does the shawl being next to him matter or no?
I mean, it does if you don't succeed.
Well, I'm saying, is that an additional dice?
No.
Okay, so it's just. Roll. That is a 16.
Nice. All right, very impressive. So, arrow shoots. You hit your target. And this hooded figure, you sort of hit it like in the other side of the chest. And this one, like the first arrow, like it went in and it's still like sticking out of the robe as you bothered this creature. The second one, however, like it notices now and it's not particularly pleased.
Yeah, that's all I would be doing.
It is going to look at. It is not going to do that. The husks, however, which are still confronting Eleonora and are also like in proximity to Asher, they are going to be obnoxious and upsetty, and they are going to sort of recover and recoil from being shoved away, and they are going to go after you again. Same dealio.
Same dealio.
Same dealio.
I'm gonna keep trying to fight my way out of this. Okay. This red D20. See if it won't fail me this time. Yeah, no, that's an 11.
That's 11. All right, so you can take a crisis to push for it'll take some damage, or nothing much happens at the exchange, and you will be inconvenienced.
I feel like this time because like that's the thing, I already have -3d6 because I'm outnumbered here, so I'm not entirely sure if taking the crisis.
I'd be willing to donate my +2 that Egg was nice enough to give us to you, and that way you technically would have 2 +2s to add to a roll.
I mean, are we using chat stuff? That's not something that I think we discussed.
That's a good question, yeah.
Using what stuff?
There are these channel point things on Twitch that like we have rewards for that people can spend those points for. And one of the rewards that we have is adding like +2 to a GM or player roll.
Egg-chan, good call. Okay. Yeah. So I think that would be probably the equivalent of like getting an additional D6. So like, yeah, okay. Absolutely. I think Egg-chan, thank you kindly for that. So yeah, we will give you I think we can sort of leave that floating It would need to be redeemed before the roll, and so you certainly could take a crisis and then use it on your next roll to hopefully overcome whatever you're dealing with, or you can just not push it, and that's also totally fine.
This because I'm already at one minor crisis, and I feel like it's just gonna get worse. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it.
That's fair. Cool. There it is. Yep, cool. All right, so you don't fail. You don't get anything particularly nasty. Like, you get shoved around a little bit, but it's fine. It's mostly fine. Returning to this hooded figure, the hooded figure is going to reach into another sleeve and pull out some different object. This, in fact, looks like a small version of those sacks that were lining the interior of the skull, and it is going to chuck it at the ground.
Oh no.
And give everyone nearby the parasitized condition. And so that is Shawl and Layla and Alexis.
But I don't want that condition.
You know, I don't think anybody wants that condition.
I don't know what the heck got me.
So Asher, you've got some friends who have been like
I know.
assaulted with some goop. Cool.
I don't know who to help or what to do. So many people were just affected at once. I think the best thing for me to do is to try to take the problem down at its source, which is to try to attack the entity, for lack of a better term for it. How far am I from this thing now?
Like, I think within a range where you could run to it and attack it in the same like frame of time.
Okay,
If that was your inclination.
Yeah, I would love to, out of love for my family, kind of let out a little bit of an uncharacteristic yell and rush this thing with a cast iron frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you charge at it with the frying pan, absolutely. Roll to attack.
It's just a 20, right?
Yep, D20.
And then I have martial weapon proficiency, so do I add it?
We'll add it to the frying pan. Why not? I'm not particularly married to like being very.
To be fair, in Rogue, it does not specify a martial weapon is when you strike with poise, like dexterity and purpose, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
I have a natural 14 on the D20 and then a 2 on my D6, so 16.
Perfect. That's a hit. You landed a solid like smash with the skillet upside the head, and you send it reeling and quailing back a couple of steps.
I think Asher just says, "Can you not? Maybe? Can you not do that?"
So, Layla, Shawl, Alexis, you can see again. Your vision is back. However, the three of you are like, feels like there are, like, you feel somehow like connected to this structure that you're in, this room, this construct, and you realize that none of it is in fact stone. It is all like, well, some sort of plant or growth. And you are now a part of it a little bit. and you can hear it, and it can hear you. And that's it. That's it.
So, question: what is the crisis that just applied?
So, in Rogue, crisis is some sort of like long-lasting effect that applies to you. Most of them give you a penalty when you try to do something related to that crisis. If you get 4 crises, your character retires from play.
Mm-hmm. But more specifically, like the one that got from the
this
the
one does not appear to give you any benefits or negatives.
Okay, that's what I was asking before.
Yeah, you do not appear to get any positives or negatives from this, but certainly there might be like interactions that occur because you are now like somehow connected to the structure that you're within.
Yeah. Okay.
Question.
Yes, Layla, question.
Does this feel the same as when I connected head earlier?
It feels exactly the same, except you can't disconnect.
Rude.
Quite.
All right. So, Eleonora still has the 2 things attacking her, right?
Yes.
And then Shaw, Layla, and myself are closer to Mushroom Man.
And Asher as well are you're all like the 4 of you are now like within melee range, close to melee range of this thing.
Seeing that since everybody else is closer to Mushroom Man and Eleanor is fighting 2 of these things by herself, Alexis would move over to essentially like force one of them further away with the torch. Again, trying to do what he did earlier, where it's like hitting it with the torch, attempting to light it on fire, and just trying to beat it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Use the opportunity provided by that big cast iron hit to return and retreat and assist Eleonora. Yeah, go right ahead.
That is 11. Is that all? 14.
14. Okay, so that is that's a miss. You can take a crisis to succeed and deal some damage.
No, I'll take the crisis.
All right, so you whack one of them with your torch. You crunch a whole bunch of its bones and it collapses dead. However, the other one is able to get up into your blind spot and like rips open a gaping wound across your back. You also now have a minor injury.
Okay. All right. All he for now.
The hooded figure is going to sort of like recover and step back, and looks at Asher and is going to again conjure that like ball of darkness and try to impale, like throw it, thrust it, target it at Asher.
I'm going to try to cover my mouth and nose as I am Dot. I don't know if that's even the right idea. What should I roll?
Yeah, I mean, just you're trying to like escape and not be hit by the whatever this thing is. Yeah, I think that's totally appropriate. Yeah. So I mean, D20, and then if you have anything to help you like be particularly like nimble or agile or like duck behind somebody for help.
I do not
Then
have
it's just D20.
stealth, I don't think. Yeah. 15.
15, solid. You duck out of the way. You're fine. Everything is great.
I wouldn't go that far.
All right, fantastic. Eleonora, one of these creatures is now gone. We've got one of these creatures left. It's you.
There's one left. So
there's one left.
We're gonna go for it. So, since I'm not outnumbered at this point, it would just be -1d6 because of the.
However, you now outnumber it with your friends, and so you get an additional 2 dice.
Amazing. It
Yeah.
works both ways. It's great.
Yeah, it does. It does. These guys are
Um,
very egalitarian monsters.
Yes, this is very good.
Yeah.
And of course, weapon proficiency.
Yes.
Would add another one.
Yeah. Do you want to wager any of those dice?
I think I'm just gonna go for it with how my d20 rolls are going. I think I'm
Fair.
just gonna take the d6s.
That's fair.
Oh yeah, because that was another 11 on the d20. So let's roll these 3d6s. And you take the highest, right?
Yep.
So that's a 5. So that would make it a 16.
Perfect. You hit. Clock it upside the head. It's still kicking, but not very pleased. Yeah, go ahead, Joel.
Perfect. Okay. I just want to be certain. I'm trying to reimagine the battlefield really quick.
So we've got Alexis and Eleonora are fighting the last remaining of these like gray thingies. We've got the hooded figure is clearly injured, but also very much outnumbered because you, Layla, and Asher are all like within melee range.
Okay.
You are still afflicted with a lot of pain. Or -1 die to attack the creature.
Yes. Which is why I would like to, if possible, because I have the hammer kind of used to pull away the weapon.
Mhm.
I'd like to have Saul strike out with his own hand, and to like try and just straight up. He has like I imagine one of his hands kind of has the mitten component of the chainmail. The other has probably been worn off. And I just want to start trying to just clobber at this guy, at this thing to start getting its attention at the very least.
Yes.
And I'd like to use my ace of brawn to draw blood.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah. That's your brawn power, I believe. Not your ace.
Yeah, sorry, not
Yeah.
brawn power. Oh, sorry. Terms
You're
in my
fine.
brain
You're fine.
just-
That's just figured. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, you immediately succeed and you punch and you hit the thing and it goes ouch. It is surprisingly frail under the robe as your hands make contact. Like it is like tall and imposing, but its insides are soft.
I just start saying, "You think I'm afraid of you? You think pain deters me? You're not even the scariest thing I've hit in the face."
It is
And I-
going to run away and go back to that like pink purple line of wall or whatever, and it sticks like its hands in and like it gets its feet in and it starts zipping back to the top way faster.
As it's trying to like go back up, can I take a bow shot at it?
Yeah, absolutely, you can take a bow shot. Go right ahead.
Yes.
One less die. So. Hey, that's a 20 on the T20.
Nice.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Yeah, absolutely. Your arrow flies through the air and hits like very squarely in the head of the creature. And it continues to get ferried up to the top, and then it just collapses in a pile on the top layer. On that top layer, the remaining gray creature like sort of like shudders as your arrow hits it, and like just books it for the middle of the big pile of rotting vegetables and corpses.
Oh, Lord. I don't miss fighting. Oh.
And roll the shoulder.
Is the gray
Right,
thing
guys.
still kicking?
No, it's running.
Oh, okay.
It rounds the crest of like the hill of the top of the mound, and then it just vanishes
great.
from sight.
That thing called us mulch. was about to
Yeah.
let that stand.
I mean- That's why I put an arrow in it.
Draw out the warhammer from where I assume the floor has been trying to grab a hold of it and
You know, I
rolls
wish
his shoulder.
I wish I could have asked why there's a big compost pile down here. Why is there a big compost pile down here?
I mean,
So, as you're like dealing with the aftermath, Layla and Shawl and Alexis. So your connection to this place, this space, is not growing stronger, but you are understanding it a little bit better. And you know how you would want, like, if you wanted to use that seam to get to the top layer with that level, you could definitely, like, you know how to do that.
I mean, that's good because I was gonna investigate that anyway. So
I mean, if you're gonna ask why there is a trash pile down here, you might as well ask why half the world's been blown up. Why does anything happen anymore?
Do you check his injury? Because, or that thing kind of got a couple of you.
Oh, just grab and pain in the shoulder. I'll be fine.
See, this
Yeah,
is why you
the
should
pain
come
has
here.
like vanished when the
Yeah,
creature
yeah, yeah.
perished. Okay.
You know, if
I'm
you ever
fine.
came down here, you would not have gotten hurt. Just saying, you could have guarded the door.
it's true.
Yes, but where would you have been?
I would have been okay.
I mean,
But you're too old to get these kind of injuries.
the way that Asha handles that pan, I don't think we need you.
All right.
Hey.
Speaking of injuries, is everyone okay to walk? Does anyone feel like they're bleeding in a place that, like, you really shouldn't be bleeding?
You know,
And let's
I think
take a
there's
moment.
cut across my
Assess.
back, but I'll be fine. I can still walk.
We should get the old man home.
You just want an excuse to leave, eh? Keep walking. I've fought more battles than you've ever seen. Probably more than... been fighting longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, numbers are just on your side for that one.
So don't question me when I say I'm alright. I know when I'm hurt.
You better make it back home.
Everyone's worried about me today.
No,
First off, it's all get out of the way, old man. Now we're in danger. Oh, we're so worried about your health. Come on. I
No, I need to
motion
wash the
towards
dishes for
the
me later.
pillar.
I need you to do the dishes for me later.
We get out of this, you're doing my dishes.
I can't.
We could all do our own dishes when we are supposed to do the dishes as the schedule suggests.
Oh, but
Just
I'm
a
so old, Asher.
My hand hurts.
You have so much experience doing dishes as the schedule prescribes.
I'm
Keep
really
moving,
tired.
keep moving, you all. Sort yours later.
I'm kind of tired anyway.
So what next?
Believe we were looking into the pillar, the fast mover.
Yeah, absolutely. So to use it, and in fact, anyone can use it. You stick a hand in, and it'll guide you up.
Wild.
Who
Gross.
wants to go
This is-
first?
Gross.
Yeah, let's do
it
it.
is so wonderful. I really
Who wants to go first?
Layla will.
Layla, all right. So Layla, you stick your hand in, and because you are connected to the structure, you feel like as soon as you touch it, you are like aware that there is like tiny, tiny, tiny life that is like feels you and like rushes to you, and the wall like grips your hand, and it is like peeled grapes, just like rubbing themselves all over your hand, like massaging it. And then you feel this incredible like force pull you up and out, and somehow, like, I mean, you imagine if you're being dragged by your hand, like the rest of you is gonna like hang or follow limply, but there is some sort of energy here that extends out, and even though it's just your hand in the wall, all of you is being lifted by it. And you slowly, very comfortably ascend to that second level. There is a cowled body on the floor right next to where you would step off. There's a bunch of arrows sticking out of it. And you also see say about a dozen like troughs that have grown out of the floor and are filled with dirt and, well, presumably, and like you can see some like hands sticking out of the dirt. There's like some cabbage sticking out of the dirt as well, and then a whole bunch of mushrooms of all different types in these troughs.
Was the pillar green by any chance?
No, this like seam that you're riding is like pinkish purple.
Okay, so it wasn't a pipe. I got it.
I get it. Okay.
I guess I'll like while I'm waiting for them, I'll like start gathering the arrows so that we can not lose them.
Sure. They come out very easily, but the wood of the arrow shaft has been like pocked by the blood, the ichor of whatever this thing is.
Right.
You also, like, as you're doing that, like, you're gonna get a glimpse of what's underneath the robe, and it definitely used to be a person. But like the face, there are like, well, it's like, what if warts were evil? Like, obviously warts are not evil. Like, people with warts are like fine, upstanding human beings. This particular person, however, has like a bunch of like spots, like in all sorts of places, like growing and have dislodged. Like, they have two eyes, but like one of them is almost completely concealed because of how the skin has like extended and grown and covered over it. Like, there is something like that has grown out of his nose and up onto and around his face.
Okay.
Does it strike as particularly like fungal looking? Like,
Yes.
okay, I'm immediately thinking like a Davy Jones but mushrooms kind of thing.
Yeah, that's an excellent like aesthetic reference. Yeah, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones, but it's mushrooms.
Okay. I guess
Who's
the
next?
next person going up would be Alexis. Yeah.
Great.
He would definitely, because he saw him do multiple arms and legs, and he'll do that.
Cool.
To go
You
up
do
even
that,
faster.
and like the wall embraces you like a lover, and takes you and holds you close, rubbing its peeled grapes all over everything you've stuck in there. And it zips you up, and then it tenderly like lets you step and withdraw yourself from it.
He'll kind of walk, and he'll still have his arms extended. He's like, just do one arm. That felt weird.
Okay. Up I go. Nelly and Nora will do it.
Much the same experience. You stick the hand in, and it grabs a hold of you. It is a thoroughly unpleasant experience, as it like slowly carries you up to the second level and pauses and lets you pull yourself out of it.
Are our hands like yucky after this, or
Nope.
they just
Totally clean? Nothing.
That
like,
somehow
there's no
makes it worse. Like
goop
that,
on
somehow that's worse.
That's kind of why, in my mind, he was just standing there with his hands in front of him, knowing what he felt, and just like, I don't like this.
I think I'm the only one who hasn't gone up yet, right? I want to make sure I was last up.
Asher is not gone up either.
Oh, I'll motion after you.
All right, I'll go.
Perfectly safe, don't worry.
It's safe. It's just gross.
You get in there, and the same thing happens. You're up at the top. It's unpleasant.
Like in my mind, the sound this makes is like stirring macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I think that's No, I think that's excellent. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Is that a thank you? I'll follow up.
yeah, cool.
Being
It
that one connected folks stuff.
gets onto you, and mac and cheese stirring as you like slowly process up to join the rest of your friends. Now that you're at the top, again, Layla and Alexis and Shawl, like you have this connection to this space, and you also have some kind of connection to these troughs. You don't know a lot about, but you somehow you have a sense it's like you know a little bit about what's in some of these troughs. You don't know why you know it. You don't know how you know it, but you think you know like a little bit about some of these troughs. What's growing in here?
Okay.
There's
So
a trough.
these were the same troughs that he was reaching into and throwing into
Yes.
the compost pile, essentially.
Yes.
Kind of knowing what's in there, but also wanting to know fully, he would stick his hand in and try to pull out whatever was.
So there are, like I said, there's like a dozen troughs. You know, each trough has a different thing in it. They're all different, like some sort of mushrooms. Like, you know, like you find the one that they were pulling the bodies of the great creatures out of it, and it is just a different type of mushroom. It's a gummy mushroom, and like it's super malleable to your touch, and like gives way really easily, but then springs back when you remove your fingers. There are mushrooms of like all different shapes, all different sizes. There's a trough dedicated to these, like this mushroom mace, and they're just growing, ready to be plucked and wielded. There's another that has very small versions of that sack that the creature threw at the ground to infect the three of you. And they're all growing off of like a Livonian Order soldier who has been like covered in dirt.
Are we able to take like one of those sacks off of there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you are absolutely able to harvest these and like hold on to them, and they're fragile.
Yeah,
but
he would definitely like gently take one and give it to Asher. It's like, we need to find out what this stuff is, and you're the only one who's gonna know.
I certainly don't know right now, but I will look into it.
Now, there is a third type of these mushrooms that, like most of these mushrooms, you don't know what they are. You just know that they're mushrooms. But there is a third type of mushroom that you have a feeling you know what this is. And this is a mushroom that looks almost like a morel mushroom, but the colors are a little wrong, at least to those of you who are good at foraging. But the three of you are convinced that this is some sort of like panacea mushroom. That this will heal injuries and cure illness. Like Alexis, like you are 100% confident that if you were to take one of these mushrooms and eat it now, the scratches on your back would heal. You know this in your bones to be true.
And so the two other people with Trailcraft also know this to be true, right?
The two other people who have been parasitized know this to be true.
Yeah, which are the two people with Trailcraft.
Two people with Trailcraft have never seen a mushroom like this before in their life.
So that's the conflict of interest.
Hey,
here, though.
I'm one of those people with Trailcraft, and if you asked me, I'd say, yeah, it seems about right. but also as a player. Faust, is that you?
I'm just thinking because like the only two people who I think would be able to identify this are also infected.
Now, as you're all poking around these different mushrooms and looking around, one of you glances over. I'm going to say Layla glances back over to the large room below, and you realize that past, this room below you is very, very large, but like past the hill of compost, there is a hole in this larger room leading even further and deeper down, and this hole is like 50 feet across. You couldn't see it from where you entered because the hill, like the massive like bodies and vegetables and compost was blocking your sight. But now that you're up looking down, this hole is very big and it is very dark. And that's all. You just see there's a big hole there.
I am going to point that out because I am.
The other thing that you see as you're poking around, on the far side of the chamber, one of the walls, so you're up on this like large ledge overlooking this very even larger room, but on the far side of this ledge where you entered, the far wall is this translucent membrane. And there is another chamber beyond, and some very large figure is like walking slowly past it. It's quite it's quite distant. It certainly has not noticed you. But there is another chamber through this translucent membrane.
I think after I point it out while they're dealing with the mushrooms, I'll start that way.
You make your way closer. You can see the creature much more clearly. The creature is about 10 feet tall, about like 6 feet wide, 8 feet wide at the shoulders. It is like you took the walls of this whatever this space that you're in is, and then you molded it into a being and like animated it in some way. And it's very slow, it's very plodding, its like fingers are the size of your arms, and it is tending to, what is it tending to? It is tending to, you see, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of those fleshy sacs from the mouth chamber at the very, very top, lining the walls of this room. And this brute of a creature is like gently rocking them tenderly, one by one.
Okay, I'm not going to go into Bowser's nursery. I'm just going to kind of stand there.
Sensible. I respect that decision. Mushroom gang. You've got all these mushrooms. You've got like a dozen different varieties. You have a rough sense as to what like 4 of them are.
You said Alexis is 100% convinced this will heal.
100% convinced.
Oh yeah, he'd eat one.
Okay, you eat one. It tastes nutty. It's quite pleasant. Like the dirt is like kind of gross because like, you know, there's like human flesh in it or whatever. But the mushroom is great. Tastes delicious. And like 30 seconds, a minute later, there's a tingling in the scratches, and it's not a tingling because they're hurting.
You would have like somebody look at the scratches just to make sure to see what's going on with them. Preferably Asher.
Asher, you gonna look at Alexis back?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Scratches are gone. Pink, new skin. Growing there. Not even a scar.
That's miraculous. and scary, but miraculous.
Yeah, he would definitely take a couple more of those mushrooms and like put them in his bag.
Yeah, there's a ton in this trough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll take like a dozen of them then. One, they taste good, but two, they healed me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, start shuffling his way towards Layla and what she's been seeing. What's that big guy doing in there?
I don't know, but he's huge. Do you think there are things, like living things inside those?
I mean-
Just like do like the hand motion of like the orb, the sphere, whatever these things are.
You're muted. Way.
I was just speaking really quietly. I didn't want to wake the baby monsters or baby, I don't know, mushrooms.
I mean, when we were in the mouth, the ones there moved away from me when I got closer to them. I don't know, maybe, but we didn't see anything when the soldiers broke them open. It was just the liquid.
What if it's something that grows like on the guy that tried to infect us all?
I don't know. I mean, got hit with that liquid and we've all been feeling different.
Well, I don't want that stuff growing out my nose.
I don't know. So our options are go down into this nursery and make this big thing angry, potentially, or go down a hole.
Yeah.
What do you say, old man?
Do you think we could beat that big thing?
If we try.
Well, actually, well, we don't know how deep this large hole is, but it's like if we could maybe think about this smartly, maybe lure it to fall into this large hole, this large, very dark hole, we wouldn't have to fight it.
Wait, but does that thing know that we're here?
It does not seem to know either it doesn't know that you're there, or it knows and it doesn't care. Hard to tell.
And does our connection to the place, does it like give us any kind of inkling of what could be down there?
So, at the hole in the middle of the very large room, so your like sense to this place sort of fades away. But what you do have is that hole is where this all came from. Like, if a plant has roots, that's the root of this place.
So we set that hole on fire.
You certainly could give that a shot.
That's where it came from. I don't know how else to beat it, but I know when you burn things, they usually don't come back.
Well, let's go check it out, I guess.
All right.
So you head down the seam in the wall. It's just as unpleasant as when you went up it. You skirt around the big pile of rotting stuff, and you get to this hole. Now the ground slowly slopes down towards the hole, and then it just like sheer drop down. You cannot see the bottom. If you bring your torch over and you get as close as you can, you do not see the bottom. But the three of you who feel this place somehow, like you feel like this goes very, very deep into the earth.
Well, can we look around for maybe another people mover? Another escalator?
There is not one.
Is there another? Oh, okay.
There is not one.
Can I drop one of my rocks down there to see if I could hear it fall?
You absolutely can. You drop a rock. You do not hear it hit the bottom.
Okay. Now, Alexis does have more than one torch on him as well.
Mhm.
So
Want to drop a torch down?
Yeah, light his second torch, toss it down.
You drop a second torch down, and it falls for a very long way, and eventually it drops out of your sight.
All right, so we're not going down there. At least, not with what we have, unless we can find miles of rope.
Yeah, or here's what I was thinking. I technically, because of our change in events, I do have my shape-shifting form. I'm trying to think
That's
of
true, you do.
something that is large and can climb really well that like Eleonora would know about.
So, about a minute after Alexis dropped the torch, the three of you, Alexis and Shawl and Layla, feel like something is changing. Something is wrong. And the floor underneath you is like shakes a little bit, and then begins to slowly slide into and closer towards the hole. It's not very fast. Like, the only way you could be like pulled into the hole or fall into the hole is if you didn't move at all. But it is inching and like retracting and retreating into the hole, and you feel the walls in this very large room are like bending and sliding.
I don't think it liked the torch.
Something's very wrong.
Well, let's move away from this before we end up in there.
You step away. The sliding is continuing, and it is affecting every part of this space.
Do you think we should just get out of here? No, but we wouldn't get sucked into whatever's happening right now.
True.
Is it pulling like the nursery area closer as well?
The entire like space that you have been exploring, like you feel like it is all connected. It's all one thing, and like someone is taking the bottom of it, and it's like
It's
very slowly.
Does it feel like it's pulling us closer to the source of this thing?
Yes.
We should stay. We ride this out, we find where it comes from, we destroy it. It's the only way to deal with weeds.
And by pulling closer to the source, I mean it feels like the entire space is going to like be slid down the hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's terrifying, but like.
Okay.
Does it
Keep
seem like
straight
it would
face.
pull the entrance we came in as well?
So your connection to the space is not particularly strong. So you can't quite like feel like that far up, but I mean, the whole space is connected and the whole space is being pulled down, and so like potentially the top is also going to be pulled down as well.
So this may be a one-way trip.
Maybe.
Well,
You
if
can
we're
run.
staying, how do we not fall down the hole?
Keep moving up.
If it's all sliding down, we just have to find a way to wedge ourselves now and have something to hold on to.
We have the mushroom people mover.
And I also have my ACE complex inventions that I haven't.
Yeah,
that-
absolutely. You could jury rig something up really quickly to like immobilize yourselves.
Let's do that.
what-
That sounds fun.
Finale action, come on.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. So you jury rig. You've got some spikes. You've got some rope. You've got those spears. You've got like there's some deer antlers you're able to like carve off and use to like reinforce and like wedge like a harness essentially that you were able to get into the wall to secure everyone there.
I even have the blanket.
Yeah, you've even got the blanket for a little bit of like cushioning and padding, so it's not even like super uncomfortable, and no one has to directly like put their body into the seam, which I'm sure everyone appreciates. So over the next like 8 hours, the whole space like slowly is pulled and descends into the hole, and you have wedged yourselves in, and you slide down to the depths as well. Fortunately, Alexis brought some food, and you make your way down to the depths, and you were not heard of again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So,
Turk. Oh, buddy. It's okay.
so if this was not the last session of Gelgelim, like we would like it would not just be you're all dead, because you're not all dead, but you are down in a very dark place far below the earth without a way to get home in a reasonable time frame. And so, you know, if we were to have a season 2, we would or could pick things up from where we left off, from you all in the depths of the earth having rid this like head back down to wherever it came from. And if we don't, then well, this is the last that you know anyone will hear or know of you all. Thank you all. This has been a pleasure. Not quite how I was expecting
That
this
was
to
it was
end,
just so matter of
but
fact. I think that's what's killing
Yep.
Kurt.
I'm sorry.
You know, I've never killed an entire party.
Yeah.
This is it's
I have never had a PC die ever, so I'm gonna leave this one ambiguous in my head.
I mean, this is definitely like ambiguous. Like no one has died, but in terms of
Yeah.
like continuity and your life on the surface, like there has been a break once Jura. And hopefully we will have the opportunity to see what happens next in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I like
but
this. I'm
here's
happy
here's
with
where we end for now. Yeah, this has been an absolute blast and a pleasure to play with all of you. You know, and I guess to those of you who are watching, I guess stay tuned, watch for Neon Lights updates, and because like I certainly plan to run more Gelgelim in the future, and hopefully we'll be able to pick this up and see what happens next. Yeah. Goodness. Let's, I guess, do a final round of outros and say our goodbyes. My goodness.
All right. I'll go first then. I'm TJ. I played Alexis, both he, him pronouns. Where you can find me next? Nowhere. That's right. I'm in nothing at all. So this is the last time you're seeing me for a bit. If you want to find out if I'm doing anything or anything, though, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Rogers_TJ, and maybe check my likes. You might find some risque things in there. Who knows?
I don't know what Twitter is anymore.
It is not safe
Look,
for work.
Until I get a blue sky like code, I'm unfortunately stuck on Twitter because Threads and Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account. I want to keep it that way. So
That is entirely fair.
anyway,
That is
that is all for me. We're gonna move it on to Heck.
All right. Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. I played Eleonora, and we'll see what goes on. It's like we might have a season 2. I would love a season 2. Please.
Transform. You can badger us out of here.
Exactly. It's like I can become something flying, right? No, it's totally fine. Where can you find me? You can find me all over the internet at Sir Heckalot, including Twitch, Itch, technically Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm generating those codes as fast as I can to lifeboat more people over, but we'll see. We'll see how. I think it's 1 code per 2 weeks, so I'm gonna be trying my best. But other than that, just find me is the best place to figure out where I'm gonna be in the TTRPG space next. Most notably, you won't see me until Oatsmore this coming week. That's it. What do you mean, Turk?
I'm gonna go last.
Okay, yeah, hi. That's me. Hi, I am Turk or Turk accented. If like me, like my shock is not from like disbelief or like any kind of like I feel like I have been playing a game of chess and I have just been mated out of nowhere, and it's just like I just am like I have a firm handle on the situation. Train. Like you played the game. We played the game most excellently. Unfortunately, we're looking at the wrong rulebook. No, this has been great. I just like in my head, I'm like, all right, next thing that must be further down. Like that must, and it's like, oh no, that's a really good point. We're just getting pulled into the earth. Like it's just like my rational brain and then my initial thoughts going in. It happens to me all the time in strategy games. I should never be consulted for anything. Anyway, if you want to see more of me, ill-advised, but cool. And you can of course find me next on August 7th over on Oathsworn. Which I run. This is over here on Yell Knights, which is Greek mythology meets high fantasy. They're on a ghost ship. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun with the campaign. I guess if you want to like check it out or whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's whatever. On the 8th, I'll be over on Lost Caravan playing Orbital Blues. It's a continuation of the one shot we did a while ago, like while ago. I have to remember the whole thing I did with my character. On the 9th, we'll be back here for Bayou Shout Peace, which is a 40k game, in which I play God's favorite Marine, except he's not a god and not technically a Marine. I'm just a Space Marine. I play a big guy. I literally gasped at the end of last session. Like, that was not like in character, that was just me in person. And then my next big thing in August is this cool thing we're doing over on Lost Caravan called Cthulhu Week. It's going to be a whole full week of Cthulhu one-shots that span various time spaces, including one kind of similar to this in the Dark Age of Cthulhu. That's actually how we're going to kick off Cthulhu Week, early Sunday. But I'll be running a lot. We have guest GMs running things throughout the week. We'll have a lot of donation prizes and, of course, everything. That's all going to be through donations towards a mental health charity that I'm completely blanking on the name of right now, but I won't hold things up. But yeah, thank you all so much. This has been so fun, despite like my absolute shock at the end. It's no, I don't want that to seem like, oh my gosh, like I know, but it's perfect. I just like I feel so strongly outplayed in the best way, and it makes so much sense. And I really do hope season 2 shows. If not, like, look, if this happens, I hope it becomes local legend. bunch of people went into a giant skeleton.
Oh my
It
God.
went away, but we never saw him again. And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've had a blast. I hope you've had a blast. Thank you so much to our awesome storyteller here, and of course all the other awesome people you see on the screen. I've talked for entirely too long. It's the thing I say entirely too much. But I'm going to pass it over to Jamie, who's hopefully ready. So who hasn't gone yet, right? You haven't
No,
already.
I can't go. You killed my character off.
Excuse me, moi.
That's
No,
my
I
fault.
wasn't-
I did that.
No, it's I'll take the blame. Don't worry, it happens all the time.
I know, but I wasn't prepared. It just kind of happened, and now I don't know what to. I'm next person, please.
Max, I think that's you.
Yeah, I'm Max. You can find me anywhere that I want you to find me on the internet at Arcane Goth. I'll be at Gen Con this weekend. Come say hello to me. My flight is like literally in 6 hours. That's why I'm kind of stressed out right now. And I'm taking a little bit of a break during August because I am traveling. And then you can catch me back in my usual haunt, Apochromatic Unlimited, Wednesdays in September. I'm gonna be running something Genshin themed. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, hi. I am Danielle Osterman Shide. I am the facilitator for Gelgelim, a Yiddish fantasy con rogue, and I made the setting. And you can find me on Tumblr, ostermad-blog, where I talk about games, and I reblog a lot of people because I'm trying to learn how Tumblr works. So while I don't have any new upcoming appearances, I did just release a really big project I've been working on for the last several months. It's called Bullet Clip. It is a brand new tabletop role-playing game periodical about Rathiobacter toxicus's incredible game, Bullets. It is, I got to pay a whole bunch of people to write like adventures and classes. Adira Slattery wrote a whole like brand new game based on Bullet that's in there. It's incredible. I got Brian Yaksha to do cover art, a bunch of interior firearm art, which looks beautiful. I interviewed Wrath. We had a really phenomenal conversation talking from like being horny for Mewtwo to game design of like their projects and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's a really phenomenal collaboration, and I am so hyped to have it out there. And of course, like the better that it does, the sooner I can like do another issue of it and like have an open call and pay more people to write like new stuff for tabletop role-playing games, which like we all need more of that. So it's a really phenomenal project. You can find that on my itch.io, which is also the same as the itch.io for the website for our stream, which is about where all of the session recaps have been, the list of NPCs, as well as like links to Rogue Second Edition and all of the house rules that we have been using. Exactly. Nightbot just linked that in the chat, so you can go there and you can see Bullet Clip Pinups issue. Nice there, right there, nice and quick. Check it out. We've got community copies if you don't have $25 to spare. Additionally, right now there's a promotion running where you can buy Bullet Clip and get Bullet at no additional cost. So you're getting like two really phenomenal products for the price of one. It's a really good deal. I recommend that you take a look and investigate and see if it's might be interested in that. Anyways, that's it for me, and that's it for us. This has been a real pleasure. My first time running a game on a stream. I've had an absolute blast. Audience, you've been delightful. At least when I've had the bandwidth to look at the chat. Thank you all very much, and hopefully we'll see you all in Gelgelim Season 2, where you can pick up in the deep dark underground and see what happens next. But until then, peace out, live long, prosper, trans lives matter, etc., etc., and goodbye, friends.
Bye.